Commie, there is some people you need to. I need to pay tribute to, homage, ma culpa, Sherika, ove, do some penitence, laugh a little. I was talking about Sherika. Let me just say on the bright side, always look on the bright side of life. Where's that from? Yes, you guessed it. Monty Python's Life of Brian, that's the end. They're crucified and they're loving. I was thinking, okay, I've been bad, and we'll get into that lamentation and wailing and whining and so on. That's switch off. That's the goal of it. I don't have the means to go to an analyst, so I'm just working with you here. This is the couch. These are my laments, and you are the shrink who's not in those jokes. He's not listening. What was that movie? So the patient is on the couch, blabbling, and my mother, and then this fellow came, and then this girl. He's not listening. He's beyond him. So he's just looking at himself in the mirror, or I don't know, doing something in the. And he's supposed to have listened, and when the question comes, he has no idea what this man has been saying. And then let me say another joke, which came to mind, the association. The way we work, the way we do things, we're not in the present, we're disengaged, alas, and we should be more that one of the secrets, one of the inner formula of happiness proposed by Martin Seligman, co-founder of positive psychology, PERMA, P, positive emotions, engagement, flow, intensity, concentration in the moment. Tolstoy, the most important moment is now. The most important person is the one you have in front of you. Relationships, meaning, achievement. PERMA. P-E-R-M-A. So let's try and get back. What was I talking about? That's the joke with Mita. So I was telling you the joke. We don't engage. So there's a cartoon, and while having a golf round, this fellow is playing round and thinking of work. When he's working in his office, he's thinking of sex, and while having sex, he's thinking of golf. It's maybe in another permutation, where you see what I mean. Instead of thinking and enjoying the moment, we're worried about, that thing would work. What about the other? So, with Sherika, maybe I did some good thing. I mean, the ending was bad. I was mischievous. I was maleficent, malefic, and so on. Mean. Mean is from Payback with a C9, like with Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson, a fellow I like. I mean, vicious off stage, but so many of them. Okay. Maybe she enjoyed our little, let's call it, love story. I mean, maybe it's better that it was flawed and ending badly than not having had it at all. Like in that, it's better to have loved and get burned than not having loved at all. 1 year of love is better than a lifetime without. That's Queen. I think from lyrics of Queen, Freddie Mercury. Maybe Freddie Mercury was solo singing this one. I'm not sure. So that's the main attenuating circumstance, the main thing I can plead in my favor. That while it lasted, together with the flaws, together with the mistakes I mentioned for the funny, amusing, stupid aspect of it. I was doing stupid things much. She was in the water of the Black Sea. Then there's another story, silly story coming. But with that, there were good things. There were tender moments. There were emotional. Intense moments we had together. Then I was thinking of the explanation, to put in a little bit of the explanation on that also. So, these being the communist days, it's the communism that explains everything. That's why the commie days. We didn't have access to this information. My parents, also their blame, of course, always the child. Didn't tell me anything. My father was shy. My mother wouldn't even think of talking with her son, I guess, about sexual things. And so I didn't know much, if anything, for a long time. So I started very, very late. First time I had sex was when I was about 19, well into my first year in university. I remember going on a camp to Petroshan, going to a girls' dormitory. We went to a place where sex was everywhere in the air. In fact, was this fellow, not in Petroshan, there's another, there are a few times there with minors and mines and so on. It doesn't matter. This guy had porn magazines and porn pictures cut from those magazines. I mean, you have one which were not touched. I mean, you could, and we did watch through them. But then others he destroyed. I don't know what happened to them, and he placed them on the wall so you could see pussy, sex, and all kinds of positions, and all over the walls. And then women invited. And I was about to get close to one, but for some reason we didn't meet again. We fixed a date and it never happened. That's because of Aditoda, but that's another character coming soon, eventually. So in the summer, nothing, and that was 1982. At 19, maybe I was already 20 the first time. And all this frustration would cause or explain some of the explosion. And after that, this lack of sex will be compensated. Every effort would be. Once I will have found tricks, I'm talking of a number of beyond 1,000 sexual partners. It's too many of them would be in the sex, what is called politically correct today, sex workers. There it is. First, in communist days, in Felix, nobody, or well, there were young women with fiancés in relationships. So I meet this woman who says, yes, we'll have sex, but you pay for it. And I paid with a packet of Kent cigarettes. That was, you had dollars, which were important here, hard currency, dollars, pounds, Deutschmarks back then, and cigarettes. Cigarettes were given to doctors, as a bribe, they were like an alternative currency, hard currency, but much more important than the leu, local currency. So it was an obsessed brain. I admit, my culpa, again and again. So that after this trip to the Black Sea, we go on another camp in Preda. This time it was my ticket. I got it free because I was doing well in the first year in university, and like a long, small prize or so. But we took the same team. I mean, I had the ticket, so I took Adrian, who had the ticket on the Black Sea, was my best friend. Sherika, her friend, brother. Marius was his name, I think it was Marius. Maybe not. Marius Antonescu this time, not Marius J, who was the central character in a few episodes, a couple previously seen on this show. And she couldn't stay, or I was too much into fornication, or the combination of elements. And so she stayed there, not the whole week long or 12 days, I don't know how much I had, the whole schedule, the whole thing. And was going back home with her brother. But before she would leave, I had been already preparing the ground. I mean, she was on the terrace on Chopla, maybe, with her brother, and I went with Adrian inside. The bar or something, these couple of women, maybe three, and we get into talking, and we say, how nice when you're here, and how about we have fun this evening? Yeah, sure. And we fix a date. And in fact, it was so effervescent, so clearly good chemistry, that as far as I can remember, we went somehow along, not in the same group. I didn't make the mistake again. So okay, this is Sherika, this is to compromise chances with those new acquaintances. Or even worse, have Sherika do the same trick again. Also, you plan on seeing Ralin again? No, he's my fellow, he's my boyfriend. But somehow we moved along on one sidewalk and lately, so that we put poor Sherika, what a bastard I was, on the train. And then we continue with these few women. And this was such a situation that by that night, I had sex with one of them, I forgot the name, in the same bed where Adrian, the bed I had to share with Adrian. These were the circumstances. It wasn't a threesome, it wasn't a menage a trois or something. How do you call that? Anyway, the only time it happened with Daniel, the rich fellow. I keep announcing his episodes are coming too. In Neptune would happen. Otherwise, there were some crazy things, and I'm thinking of a mini-series, Sex in the Commie Days, because that was one of the few things happening available as entertainment, as sex. In fact, positive psychology and other research has shown that it's one of the big boosters of happiness levels. One of the best things you can do to get happier, unless of course there are conditions, heart or perversions, people with issues, let's just put it. And then for worse, this is perversity. So it was this girl, then I meet her friend, who somehow lived nearby in those days, and we get very close, but just as consummation was in sight, there is something, this for previous relationship is unearthed with her good friend, and it doesn't happen, but it happens with the third. So there were three good friends, and the third friend, we have intercourse too. So it was vice, very vicious fellow.